Another episode of The Gamers Takes, episode 6. With the game with the topic we're gonna be talking about is a franchise COD League worth it? While we're playing Black Ops 4 and also with COD Champs in a way, we're gonna hear more and more stuff about it. And we got some topics I kind of want to really touch on with some of our fellow Xbox players. Um, so our special guest here today will be someone who's actually gonna be living in the same city as me in maybe maybe in a week or so. As he's going to University of Florida, I'm going to Santa Fe College. So let our guest introduce himself.
Yeah, go Gators, guys. Hi, my name is Flurry, and I love Call of Duty. That's definitely my favorite game. I'm also a fan of Rainbow Six, and I've been on Xbox for about 6 years, and so this is definitely my home. I enjoy it here, even though I do have a PS4. Uh, I definitely prefer Xbox, and I'm happy to just talk about the future of Call of Duty because I love the scene, and uh, I watch a lot of Call of Duty. I watched last year, and this year, of course, Black Ops 4, and so I'm just really excited for the future. It's franchising will be really exciting for Call of Duty for sure.
Okay, so the opening topic we're going to be talking about is I was going to ask you this question: what is life like in Gainesville? But again, I didn't notice you don't live in Gainesville right now. I
Actually,
just
I
moved
could.
here
I
two.
was there for the summer, so we can definitely start with that
Oh,
if you
you can
want.
explain it. Like kind
Yeah.
of like I'm kind of new here since I just moved like all the way from Michigan, and
Wow.
it's been 2 weeks since I'm here, so it's kind of how is like the people, the culture is like. So kind of if you kind of know a little bit more. Again, I haven't been really doing them. It seems normal. It's just kind of a lot more people you expect in the city. So kind of
Yeah.
explain what is kind of Gainesville like. What's its environment like?
It's a it's a very cool town for sure. In the summer, it's pretty quiet. It's surprisingly, and when I move in tomorrow, I'm sure the fall is gonna explode. So it's definitely gonna be different. But
Yeah.
it's a nice little town. It's got a If you've ever been there, the Rights Union is just a beautiful place, and you can tell that there's a lot of support from the state, and just I'm sure it's just an amazing town for education, and uh, it seems very wholesome, and just everybody seems like on the same vision of invest in your future, right? And even if you're going to Santa Fe, I'm sure I have friends there, and it sounds great. So uh, I'm just it's gonna be a
I
great 4 years of being in Gainesville for sure.
Well, it's just kind of different environment. I think it just for me, just kind of moving into a bigger city, a lot more crowded.
I live from
Doesn't
Michigan. How do
it's
you like
kind of
Florida?
nice. It's hot. I think it was annoying when I
Yeah.
had to move stuff in and out of the house because I think I brought my family wanted to come to move to Florida when I made the decision. I could have I only had like I could have went to Oakland University. I could have went to like I even had University of Tennessee respond accept me, but I think feeling like since I have a half brother who lives here,
Yeah.
just kind of having to have more people to talk to, just get a good start. And plus, I think my goal is just kind of stay in Florida for a while, and that was kind of the decision I made after I kind of left high school, since I wasn't really a big fan big fan of it. Like I don't know.
I get you
I
there.
just kind of want something new. I want like a fresh start. I don't want to be in Michigan for another depressing 4 years dealing with the snow, the weather, and just kind of you know just seeing like just new environment.
I
And
like that.
also
Yeah.
just kind of also want to like my future just to end like start my future here.
That's great.
I think one thing I don't know. It just seems odd. Uh, just everything's like in one. I think everything's like one area, but which is kind of the nice part about it. Like everything is close. Like Best Buy is not that far away.
Yeah, everything's one all in the
But
same area.
the thing, yeah, but you got traffic and it just kind of annoys you a little bit. But
hmm Yeah.
you got to deal with it a lot of times. So
Hazel's definitely a very nice area. I really like the architecture as well. It's a kind of a little bit old school, a lot of bricks, things like that. I just
it's a
it seems
college. It's kind of a college-based city.
yeah, true.
so it makes sense. It's kind of having that like college-like vibe towards it, but it's different. I think different. I think it sucks that we, you know, I live close to Top Golf. That sucks. There's no Top Golf. Like it's 2 hours away. But also
Oh
I'm
yeah,
kind of not really a
I
big
love
fan.
Topgolf.
Is like I live like 30 minutes away from Detroit. That was like maybe 20, 30 minutes away from Detroit, and I live like,
Hmm.
you know, all the pop Southeast Michigan. That's where all the popular cities are, and like you live in like, like Florida right here. In Gainesville, you're like 2 hours away from everything. It's like it's a little bit of a
Yeah,
drive,
it's
but it's
closer.
not too far, you know.
Mm.
Especially when, you know, I'm gonna be honest. If you ever do go to, I guess you're not gonna visit Michigan. I prefer you not. But you know,
It
the
sounds like a
northern
great
side of
place.
the state, the northern portion of the state is kind of really like picturesque. So I think that's kind of where it. But it was just far. It was like, it's, it's I don't know. It's just kind of the disadvantage of Gainesville is just you don't have like you basically have your own city. You're not surrounded by other communities. Like a college is like 45 minutes away, so you just it's kind of a little bit separated from like the other communities. But again, it's not a problem because
It
there's
is. It's
130K
a lot
people
of
here,
college
but
cities
you
are like
got
that.
everything over here. So
Yeah,
um,
it's definitely true.
also sucks no Top Golf for 2 hours away, but that's okay. I suck at golf anyways.
There's a Top
Also
Golf in
one more.
Jacksonville. I love it.
I, Also, one more thing I want to ask you, as the opening topic question before we get into franchising. What was kind of what got you into kind of Call of Duty? Like, have you been wanting to pursue playing in Call of Duty esports? I think
Yes.
especially with the college COD thing you're saying.
Uh huh.
Um,
Have you looked into that?
you know,
Just interested.
I don't think they have it Santa Fe.
There's a yeah. Um, College COD is pretty
Well, I
new.
know.
It just started this year in Black Ops 4, and I was kind of on the outside looking in, but it just looks super fun, and I can't wait for Modern Warfare next year. But I guess more of my history and how I got into Call of Duty. I've always been on Xbox 360 days and Modern Warfare 2. I loved Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 as well. And I just kind of just stayed on it. Like even the next gen, I went right into Advanced Warfare, and even though it wasn't a great game, I thought it was kind of underrated. And so we can have a whole conversation about the jetpack CODs and how they played. I thought they were different. I don't prefer them at all. I really prefer the tactical gameplay we see in like R6 and the new Modern Warfare, how it looks like. But I mean, it was an interesting change and innovative. But I still stayed on Xbox through that whole time. And so I guess I got into
That's true.
competitive.
Yeah.
I started in Black Ops 3. I felt like it was a very popular game for sure, and it had a arena mode, and that's where I got into it for sure. I had some friends who played arena, and there was a surprising amount of support for esports in that game, where they'd have like pro team camos in the shop. I remember supporting Optic Gaming that way, and it was really fun to watch because the tournaments were so popular since the Black Ops 3 was such a big game. And that's basically where it started
I
for
got
me.
I kind of got really caught esports like back in Black Ops 2. I think when I watched the first champs.
Oh yeah.
I think that was the first time. I think it was I think the only champs I think I kind of really got into every champs in the last 2 years. I think once I really fully got committed into watching like esports and maybe I have a chance of it. Kind of World War Two. I didn't even play a lot of World War Two to be honest. I played till December, but I think the thing is I got fascinated with the esports part because I like just kind of the competitive nature that you know everybody's it's a challenge. I think you know it's not like pubs where you get to shit on people all day. You know,
Of
and
course,
then you got
yeah.
like set rules, you got set maps, just strategies, and like it's really tactical, and that's kind of also really why I got into Rainbow Six a little bit more because it just had that tactical gameplay that the that you know competitive plays um overall. But again, I Black Ops 2, I watched that champs when was it Killer clutched that 1v1 against Poofy in that last round and they won Freako Impact.
Oh
I didn't
man,
watch
with
that
Karma and Parasite. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
such an
that
amazing year for them.
was Also Mercs, can't forget about him.
Frederico was so good that
I
year
think.
that they just partied and still won, like not even barely trying. It seemed like.
Yeah, I heard the story about like what Killer said. On it.
Yeah, the Hex podcast that we were talking about.
Uh, also, I think it was on Dexert though, like one of the scenes. I don't know.
Oh yeah, gotcha. That works.
But yeah, I think having that adventure time, just like they were just bounding teams. Ghost, I didn't watch much of Champs. AW, that was the first game I kind of really got good at. Oh, why did I run into that?
Ghost was an underrated game, I think.
But
It just wasn't great, but it's still a lot
I
of fun.
was thinking, yeah, Ghost. I don't know, just people hated Ghost. I think just from the pub standpoint, but I think he's talking about competitive. It was, I don't know. I think it was not a bad game. It's just kind of if you sucked at it, it wasn't enjoyable. Like they,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. You just have to get good. I think AW wasn't. I think AW wasn't a bad game. I think kind of really one of the first years I kind of really watched a lot more esports tournaments. That's I think because FaZe at the time. But they were fast. They were good. Ooh. But otherwise, I kind of Black Ops 3. I forgot a lot about. I didn't really watch too many of that when they had the region, the unique region things, not the global one.
Yeah.
And then IW, I watched Champs when that Courage line, the Dynasty.
Yeah.
This,
What an amazing tournament that.
and then I watched. And then I watched World War II. That was the game I was really interested in because of Pro League. That was the first kind of Pro League I really got into.
Me too. Honestly, I watched all of World War II, and that was like the first one that I was like super consistent about, where I like tuned into every event.
And then Black Ops 4, same thing, just really
Yeah.
consistent. So let's actually get into the main topic here. This is gonna be free ball. I think yesterday I wrote up some I think for a different person was gonna rate some topics so I don't have to like free ball off my mind, but I didn't know it was gonna be on this early in the morning, so I thought we were gonna be at 2. I was gonna rate more, but that's okay. So the first thing I kind of want to ask you is what was when did you first hear about like the franchise league being confirmed or like the rumors, and what was your kind of reaction when you heard it the first time around?
Okay, so it's actually an interesting story. In the competitive scene, there was a leaker that is the COD burner, and he's kind of a meme at this point. But I think that's where I first heard it. There was he made a long post about how there was uh like secret meetings and negotiations being made about I guess like $25 million franchise spots in a league for next year. And I guess that's where I first heard it, and it was there hasn't really been a lot of official information about it, which is it's kind of it'd be scary for me if I was trying to get into the league and there's no like concrete evidence and like structure to it yet. But I think based on the Overwatch League being under Activision and Blizzard, I think that you can just assume a lot from that, from
Yeah,
what's
it's
already
just
in
kind of
place there.
similarities. Yeah, I think when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I know I think Overwatch and League of Legends. I never played those games, never watched it that much. But
Me
I just
neither.
watch it just because it's esports. But when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, interesting. Franchising that was, it could been in the mix because of the future. And then once it got confirmed, it was like they made a city base. Like, hmm. City base and was like, oh, okay. What's gonna happen to Optic? What's gonna happen to like Phase? It's the investment.
Yeah,
It's nice. Everybody gets a standard. You get to see these big orgs
which I was
get
kind of
into the
concerned.
mix, and it's like I think
You look
everybody
at
was concerned about that.
yeah, you look at Optic and the viewer count goes up like probably 20,000 viewers on Twitch every time they're playing. and it goes down when they're not. And so, just with that branding, I mean, it's kind of insane thinking about you have to rework everything from the ground up with the city-based
Matters.
system. But
I think you get the fans like. I think they average like I think currently I think it was like 40K maybe it was average and then they put the Optic series versus the EG yesterday. It was like 65K and it's like
yeah,
what?
exactly.
How is it? Does really? There's a whole tournament. You can watch other teams besides Optic,
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know
and
where they come from, but
that's
it's
just
there's a
shocking.
huge
They
yeah.
basically gain about a third, like from that 40K they gain up 66K. You know how much they had. They gain like about a third of the viewers they had normally with other series
Yeah.
from and they just a lot. It matters on like and especially they were in the mainstream, so they gain a lot more because they were not on the sub streams and
Mm.
sub streams they were like kind of close to the main ones, but um it was I think you talk about that viewership. Will it kind of stay with the would it kind of stay with the Los Angeles Optic? Like if whatever the loss whatever morals or they want to do with that Optic gaming brand um later in time. Like what how like if they're gonna be Los Angeles Optic. And, I think that's kind of what the rumors have been saying. You still have the Optic gaming brand going to Call of Duty only. Do you think it would just kind of cause a stir of attention if it was just renamed? Although you're still owned by, although Optic
Hmm.
gaming brand is still on there.
Well, we saw a big issue this recently about how Immortals bought into Optic and basically got ownership over it. And I think it was rumored that we would lose the Optic gaming brand this year. And that created a big commotion. And so, I mean, I can definitely see an issue with it. Um, if it was publicly noticed, like that Optic would become like the Houston Green Wall or something, or the Dallas Green Wall. I don't know if it would create the same. I don't know if it would be an issue. I think it would still all those fans would still support that team, especially if it had the same players like Krim, Scump, Karma. Those trios can basically like carry a team in terms of viewership because there's so many fans
Face,
for
I
them.
think especially Scump, that's gonna be the kind of the big viewership.
Yeah, he's so big,
Because you have
especially.
those legacy players. What happened to the dynasties? Like, let's just say Formal was here, and they had Dashi. I'm not gonna disrespect TJ, but just say this year they still had that same core five. Well, the same core four plus Dashi in the mix, or maybe TJ because of the sub and what concerns I
Yeah,
got from. Well, actually, Dashi at this moment.
Ash is actually
But
huge now.
what
He's basically picked it up.
So Dashi could gain a lot of viewers there, if Dashi just say doesn't stick with, that team of five at the moment. If it does stay team like does stay a five 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 players on a team, I don't think I don't know how much concern it's gonna cause, but I don't think it would. Because Dashi's a rising star, he's a talented player. They look at specific players, they watch the talents, they're gonna watch Dylan, they're gonna watch Envoy, they're gonna watch Attach, they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
watch FaZe. I think FaZe and Optic kind of gain a lot of the viewership. I know FaZe doesn't gain any. Like if you notice a change in like when our FaZe plays, they don't really like have top charting numbers. Although they're probably the most subscribed esports team in the world, they're really well known. But just because of the legacy Optic had, as where the viewer count is, I thought maybe they were gonna watch EU 90 because of Clayster, but we didn't see that much. Which could be kind of really interesting if we see that Los Angeles, what happens with Scump, Krim, Karma, how it would affect the viewer count of the league, and I think it's going to be kind of drastic at the
Do you think they're going to be divided up?
probably. It matters on how it works. It matters on how again. Now it's not your choice of picking what team you want to play. It's the GM's choice. They're gonna pick the five players that will work best. Then you know
Yeah,
it's gonna
that's true.
I think they're not gonna care. If you're one of the most I'm gonna give an example here. John having a shitty S year. We don't know how big his stock is gonna be. I know he has experience. We know he has value because of how much years he has played. But would a team want to invest in a guy who did not do good last year? And that's going to be a big difference. It's not going to matter on experience anymore. It's going to matter on how good you play, because that's the
Yeah.
difference between your franchise doing good, having fans come here because of your winning success, or they. A lot of times, yeah, players that could make a difference. Especially when you have, just to give an example, Formo joins the Paris roster. That's gonna be a big grab for the scene. Formal doesn't do good. The team doesn't do. I think the team doesn't do good overall. That's gonna mark a concern for the long run, because there needs to be a
He's the face of
revamp,
that team.
and that could, you know, unless you have another superstar in the team that can, get your fans going and just say, oh. But again, there's basically like 6 to 8. There's gonna be a rumored 8 team. They said they sold 8 spots. 7 has been leaked. I don't know what the 8th one is gonna be. But again, there's a limited amount of spots. They want to basically if just say there's 8 teams, they're gonna have 12 teams. I think that's what they said. The 12
Yeah,
teams
I
need
was
to have
thinking
really
12,
good players. So if your team is like bottom of the league, I don't think people are gonna show up, and it's gonna be hard to replace a lot of these rosters.
Yeah, that could be difficult there.
Based on a talent standpoint. And it's going to be really stressful for those, because of superstar power for these teams. And you can have a down year and all that, but it could affect a lot of. They needs to be, I think, if you have 12 consistent teams, they are all equal, but maybe 1 or 2 superstar teams, but every team has fought really good. It's not too much, half and half favorite. That could be a difference between a good league and a bad league. Like, I don't think teams, I think they do like seeing dynasties, but I don't think it will matter. Like, in that point, it could, people don't want to see the same teams when they want to hear an underdog story, and that increases the fan base.
Of course, yeah.
So,
I don't think it'll be possible for a dynasty to be formed again because of how spread out all the players are going to be. All of these different franchises, they're paying a lot of money for these teams. It's rumored like $25 million, so they're going to work their hardest to balance these teams out. And I don't really see there being an independent dynasty team being formed again, like Complexity or Optic, just because of, I mean, it's gonna be a lot more balanced in professional in a franchise format. And I like your idea, the example you used of John earlier, because he was so highly rated at the beginning of this year. It was rumored that he had a buyout of $200,000, and considering how he's played this year, I mean, you would never guess that. It's absurd. But since of his experience and how good he was last year, and he won champs in Black Ops 3, I mean, it shows how experience is so highly rated, and that might change with franchising because
now you
wouldn't be looking at the new
doesn't
players.
matter anymore.
Yeah.
There's no, oh wait, this guy's my friend, I have to stop on this, he can improve later in the year. No, it matters on now. It matters on how, and it matters on how much sales you get from your team. Your
Exactly.
team could be sold out because you don't have enough merchandise sold, or well, like I think it makes most sense, merchandise, but that could be a big difference maker right there.
Every team is gonna want their
next,
superstar guy, and I think there's about 12 like really popular like superstar players. Think like Zuma, Glacier, the 3 on Optic. I have a feeling they're all gonna be separated on their own team just because it's good business to have one of those superstars on your team. If you don't and let another team form a dynasty, they're just gonna take over.
I think there's also a room. Are you kidding? There's a room like 2 substitutes per team. I think that's, I don't know where. I think that'll make the most sense. I think that's what I heard from.
I heard there might
So
even be 10.
again,
10
your team of 5 doesn't work well. Hopefully, your substitutes will solve the difference. But again, there's no really clear point on that. Now next thing we're gonna kind of go, kind of talking about like the city-based thing, the brand a little bit, kind of. I just had this on my mind. What what,
How teams
how
will
are
travel,
these?
like cities.
All, yeah, I think all cities, but also how will kind of tournaments be? Yeah, kind of. What do you think? Like, let's go on that one because I just went blank on the question I was supposed to ask. How would like with cities being in place, how would these kind of schedules work? Especially when it's been, I think, confirmed they're gonna play in home stadiums the first year, like
Yeah.
they're gonna play in like venues the first year at whatever team plays. Like, how's it? How do you kind of think it will be kind of set up? Because it's gonna be
That's a great
interesting.
question. Um, there's people that are concerned that MLG was just so good at setting up events at all these great locations like Anaheim, Miami recently. They're just such a great producer when it comes to these types of events that they're afraid that the new league won't be able to match it. Like, how will it make sense to not have a great crowd like these MLG events, but just have like a small venue where two teams meet up in a city? Like it will cost a lot more money, and it won't be as uh, I guess it won't be as
Unless your
like
tickets are like $50, like $20. But again, your
yeah, but
series
like
goes into like a 3-0.
yeah, if the
Um,
teams aren't balanced,
that's
if
a
there's not enough incentive for the players to give their all, like at some of these MLG events, like it won't be the same experience, and that's definitely a concern with the new league.
yeah. I think just kind of. I'm not saying what I think when it first starts. I think it's gonna be a big boost. They're gonna have. I think the big thing is with these cities being released, having them at the home stadiums. They're gonna have to have a big boom off the rip. They're gonna have to have a lot of fans, and I think the good thing is they didn't do it in like some like random ass city. They did it in like really popular areas. I think Minnesota. So we got Minnesota, New York. New York. Let's start with New York because that's gonna be biggest from like smallest. New York. They
Yes,
have 8 million people. You have people from New Jersey, like kind of close to New Jersey. You got Long Island. That's big fan base right there. I think a lot of
it
people
is a
play
huge
in New
market
York.
for sure.
Los Angeles. That's again a lot of esports teams at headquarters there. That's a lot of fan bases. Pros can be able to like this. I don't know how this like training facilities they've been being created. Pros are living there. You can have pros. This is probably one of the only times where you have other pros not from your specific city team show up to that. Next one is Dallas. That's another big esports market. I think cities that have big esports markets is kind of the Dallas area. I don't know why. I don't know how they got really big. And Los Angeles, we got a lot of teams headquarters.
LA for sure.
Dallas is gonna be a big one, especially I think, especially with the creation of the esports arena they made in Arlington. I think a couple Arlington in the past. Well, actually now, that could be a home crowd for the whatever Envy's
Uh-huh.
Dallas team is gonna be. So they already have a
Yeah.
stadium propped out. It's really big. So that's the good thing about Dallas is they already have probably a stadium planned out in Arlington with the esports arena. So that's kind of the good thing right there.
That sounds good.
Um,
But that's only
Atlanta, that's a big market. Especially it's probably it's the south. It craves the south, but the problem is it's a lot of the southern cities they could be interested. Georgia is a really big state. A lot of people live there. You got Athens an hour away, so people want to, people from University of Georgia, they want to watch. You can have that. Next one is Toronto. Yeah, Toronto. That's Canada's big market. That's one of the I think, the most populous city in Canada with 2 million. I think 2 million people. You got others like surrounding areas, but maybe people from Ottawa want to travel to Toronto for the weekend. Maybe they're a COD fan too. Maybe they just watch a match. Um, let's see. Okay, Minnesota, really. I think it's. I think. Oh, let's go. I'll talk about that one last. Paris, you have problem. I think these are two cities I kind of have problems with at the moment being released. Paris, there isn't a really kind of big COD scene. Um, and what are you kind of thinking about the Paris location?
so I'm not entirely sure about the European cities because travel is always an issue. I'm not sure how they're gonna set up these events, and it's much more expensive to fly the players out. if you go all the way over to Paris or come back across the sea to the States. And so, um, I know there's definitely a huge European crowd. Like we saw how great the London event was, and I think there's room for European teams for sure because if you look at the Overwatch League, there's
London and
definitely
Paris.
yeah, there's a Shanghai team, there's definitely some European
West.
teams, and
I'm
so
gonna be care
whether
well,
there's a market,
actually get
definitely
about
go
that
for it.
topic. Yeah, but I think just Paris. That doesn't really like Overwatch. You can get people interested in a region, but I think Paris. It's just kind of over the history. They haven't had the best success overall. Oh my god, I'm playing with that rapper guy again. They haven't had the best success overall. With just kind of COD teams again, Whalers and Brezzies. Train Hard Esports. They got eliminated yesterday.
Yep.
Um, also, wait, actually, also kind of the fact of again Whalers and Brezzy kind of being the only pros on there, and Brezzy's kind of the main. You kind of talk about Brezzy's the main French guy. He's the main dude, and there's only if you're gonna have French players, it's just gonna be a disadvantage for the NA players who should have the opportunity to play, but again they don't. It doesn't work like that, and it's gonna be hard for translating a lot of times. But if Railers and Brezzy play in a team and North American players are ready, it shouldn't be too much of a concern. But again, the market isn't that big. I don't know how big the market is over there in Paris, France. So
I'm not sure either, but I'm
I
sure
think
that
that could be interesting.
yeah, if someone's willing to pay $25 million to invest in a franchise league, I hope they're investing correctly, and
Well,
I'm sure
that's
there's a
what the
scene in
Paris
Paris for
Eternal did.
sure, but yeah, I mean I'm sure there's a scene for sure, but
Yeah, but there's just
um,
kind of like you don't really know a lot of the names. Like I don't know any like uprising amateur or just like some like Brezzy. I think Brezzy's just only Brezzy and Whalers kind of being the big French name players on there. Cause see the old denial roster come up if they invest in spawn and said, "Oh, I just want the French. I just want players from France." Otherwise, I just kind of really that just seems like a questionable spot unless you get some European talent or fuck it, you're in France for like 5 years. Have fun.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Speaking of European
and next
talent,
one is, yeah.
if you don't get going,
Next
you don't know what
one,
you're doing.
well, we don't, yeah, but it's London. Well, I don't know what spot he's gonna try to go. Well, we don't know what's gonna happen. I think rumors said NYC, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and New York City wanted wanted a lot of the reciprocity players. And then they didn't message the owner. They didn't DM the owner about the opportunity. They messaged the players. Which I don't
Interesting.
think that was
Wow.
supposed to happen. Yeah, I think it was a couple weeks ago, maybe like a week ago or something like that. Actually, 2 weeks ago. But that was fascinating when I heard that.
Yeah, because they'd be under contract. That's a wow. That's an interesting story there.
Well, you have to contact them before they're interested because you can't. I don't know. It's a little bit too early.
Yeah.
And then I think Minnesota. That's another question mark because it doesn't have that big mark. Minnesota's a popular city. I get that. It has a hunt maybe like 500K. But I don't know. It's just like who would want to travel to the cold? I think that's a concern right there. But again, you
Cities are pretty
again you have
spread
a
out.
Montreal team for God's sake. I think Toronto team for God's sake that could have homely. So but again it's just everything's kind of too far away. What you got Minnesota and Minneapolis and St. Paul. That's all you got.
Yeah.
But again, I think I think it's an interesting scene. It's just kind of a little bit too small for the market. Let's go on that kind of topic. What cities, like with the 5 spots left, what cities would you kind of think would be in there?
I think Miami should definitely have a
If
team. It looked like a great event, and I think it's just a huge team. There's a lot of COD fans, especially in the Florida market for sure. We need a Florida team, and I think Miami is the
I
best
would
city
have
for that.
Tampa. It's a lot closer. I think Tampa or Jacksonville is a lot closer for both of us.
Yeah,
Well,
it is, and Jacksonville's a decent spot for esports events. We actually had unfortunately, there's a Madden event that
Yeah, that shooting.
in the news that happened. But it's definitely a good city for that. We have a lot of support here. But I don't know. I feel like Miami is definitely a bigger market and it has a better marketing appeal. You know what I mean?
So, nice to see team like both the cities on there, just like really close. Miami, it's like, oh god, that's a little bit of a drive. I mean, I gotta get airplane ticket for that because it's too far.
Yeah,
Well,
true. True.
again, people would drive for it anyways.
But again, if there's
And it's
Paris, you're
gotta,
not.
yeah,
I'm sure they have a solution. And if you're you have to travel all the way to Paris, right?
they better have a solution.
Right.
Um. Also, what's 4 other cities you kind of think of?
Some other cities?
Yeah, just
Las Vegas. We didn't mention that. I think that's a given.
interesting market. I think that could be a really known city. 2 million people over there. They had a tournament this year.
Yep.
I think it makes similar sense. Marathon, how they want to set up the esports. I think, the stadium. They could. I think that's actually a good location. I haven't really thought about that overall, but I think you have the HyperX in the Luxor. That could be a good arena to play in. The
For
HyperX
sure,
arena,
yeah.
and like, I think you already have something set up for that. So
Yeah, I
that
think
works
that's a
perfectly.
given. I definitely it needs to be a Las Vegas team. I think for sure.
Also, I think, any other free, you, what other free cities you think you could be a possibility? Just kind of list them off.
Let's see.
I can probably explain it for you, or you can explain a little bit of it, but just try to get the free cities off your mind
Maybe like a Charlotte
if you
team.
can think of it. Yeah, that's been in the rumors too. I think when I saw like a Twitter account, Carolina Gaming, that was like, oh, okay.
Oh wow, nice.
I think it's a good population. I think you got Tennessee right next door, South Carolina. That's a really popular area. A little bit smaller, like city market to be honest, but again, that could work.
Yeah, I definitely East Coast and just having all those surrounding states that have large populations, like you mentioned Tennessee. I think Charlotte's a good bet. I think the
Okay,
bigger than the location itself. I think you need to have players that can draw attention, and that comes with some of the big players like Glacier, Zuma, probably Karma, Crim6, Scum. If you don't have one of those players on your team, I see it difficult making a return. I don't know how your team is going to be popular enough to meet the investment you put into the team.
okay. 2 other cities.
Hmm. Not sure actually. Maybe something. San Francisco.
Interesting market energy. There's been, I think it was rumors back in the day. I think EG was gonna get that spot.
Yeah.
But
There's
I
some
think
cities that haven't
energy.
been- Yeah.
Energy esports could be a popular, kind of a big investment there. And they do invest in it. Then you have Oakland area too, very well-known areas. That's gonna be. I think that would be a likely spot, but it just matters in who wants to invest in it. Does Energy or whoever's up there wants to invest in that spot? And last one. If you
Actually,
haven't.
I'm not sure actually. What do you think? What's the city I'm missing here? 'Cause I think we definitely hit the top cities for sure.
It's 4 already. Kind of. I actually.
got one in
okay,
Florida.
I'm gonna.
How many Texas teams are there? I know there's a Dallas for sure.
You think Houston? Are you probably
Yeah,
going
they
Houston?
could be a Houston team because there's a lot of orgs based out of Texas that I can see multiple Texas teams being fielded for sure.
Houston Outlaws at the moment. Which was backed up by Infinite Esport for that to happen. They're gonna be, probably, well, they're gonna be still a different organization, but I think it's still gonna be kind of Outlaws brand. It's just gonna be someone else is gonna own it. I think,
Yeah.
I don't know unless they want to rebrand it. My cities I'm gonna go for is Madrid. This
Oh
is
yeah, out of the
I
country.
think you talk
Yep.
about the Spain market a lot. You had Giants players, you had Heretics. There's a lot of I think Spanish is a growing scene. It's a very hyped up scene. You know, Heretics does gain
It's a
a
very
little
good
bit of a
pick.
crowd because of like Heretics does gain at least like maybe I think 5,000 more viewers because of the Spanish scene, the Spanish crowd over there. So that makes I think great sense to have a team. But again, I think there's actually been rumors that could actually happen because I think Heretics, the owner wanted, I think was kind of waiting on some finals. I think could happen. I think in next if you
Definitely.
do, I'm gonna be shocked if we don't see a Madrid team.
I think that's
Next one
definitely
is
possible.
De
Heretics were huge this
Detroit.
year.
I think it sucks that I moved all the way to Florida and there could be rumors of a Detroit team. Um, but I think imagine what Dan Gilbert and 100 Thieves decide what to do. I don't, if they're gonna invest in Los Angeles, if you know with that Series B funding that happened with 100 Thieves, is that gonna be invested into the spot? And I think that's gonna affect it because they built a facility. Same as Genji, with those facilities. Who's gonna get the LA spot, and then who's gonna get the if Genji manages to get that spot for LA, you know, will 100 Thieves try to fest in Detroit? I think that's gonna be the big question mark. I think also kind of, it's a lot more. I think it's a little bit more small market, but again, you have like I think 2 million people live around the southeastern Michigan area. You have people from Toledo that can come, Lansing, uh, Grand Rapids if you want to drive like 2 hours. But again, you have a decent amount of markets over there that could work. Next one I'm gonna go with Chicago.
Yeah,
This was I think if you think about a city that was not Overwatch League, Chicago, I thought Chicago would be one of them. Um, I think
definitely.
again you have that's a big city, 2.6 million in just that area, and you got other cities surrounding it, so it's like maybe a metropolitan like 4 million. That's a big market. Um, I don't know if where they're gonna build the stadium. I think that's gonna be the question mark. Um, it's gonna be easy travel because I think also everybody can get to the airport because Chicago O'Hare is a very it has a lot of markets. Minnesota, I don't know about Minnesota. It's just kind of the airport scene, but that it's just a lot of entryway that anyone can kind of get to. Next, Boston. That
Actually, I
one
don't know the Boston
is
market for sure. Is Call of
Boston
Duty
has
good
a
up there?
team. I don't know. But Boston has the Uprising, which is owned by Robert Kraft, and there can I think I think if you talk about the Phase clan, they just had Offset join as a investor yesterday. That's where I
Uh
see
huh.
them investing in. I would not see them investing in LA. I think you talk about the roots of Phase with Temper and Banks. It they if they were gonna do it, they would do it in Boston. I was thinking Boston could be the spot. If that actually happens, I thought about it a long
Wow.
time ago. What will Phase invest in? I can't. LA, New York. Well, that's a little bit too late for both of them. I don't think they
Yeah,
have a
because
chance in
Gen G has
LA.
to lock down, I think, in LA.
But Boston, it makes the most sense, I think, to I think a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people think about that Boston market, but it's it's a really popular city. It might be a little bit cold, but again, you have the roots of Temper and Banks, and they will kind of want to have it in their home kind of city area and have a team over there. Mares, if they who will kind of invest in it. Do we see Robert Kraft doing the same thing over and over, investing in Call of Duty team there? We don't
Wow,
know that,
that'd be amazing.
but that will. I think that seems like a really possibility. And the last one I'm gonna go for this, it's gonna go. I'm gonna go a national team here since London. That makes the most sense.
For sure.
When
That's
I think you go at London, I was think Dublin, and I don't think Ireland is gonna work. But London, 8 million people around this metro. That makes. I think you talk about the national scene. The UK scene has been growing. that it just makes more sense. But it's just kind of the concerns with it is would the cities want to invest in 25 million? If it was 10 million, there would be a lot more interest. But I think, maybe with those big markets, maybe they kind of think of the long run, saying, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be a slow first year. It's a testing first year, but we would trust that it will work in like later." So that's kind of where that's gonna be kind of you kind of think the big market is. It's just you're gonna trust the process later. It's gonna be a long run. I'm not gonna. What did you? Okay, so actually, I got interested because of your tweet when you, if I remember, you mentioned that they should have 2 years. When you mentioned, I think mentioned. So this is what you said. If I were in charge at Activision, I would release MW2, Modern Warfare 2 remastered in 2020. What was your kind of? So you have a year to develop Treyarch and probably the helping of the scene. So what do you kind of think about that after Sledgehammer? What happened with Sledgehammer?
That's
Like,
thanks for bringing that up. So the biggest part of this whole franchising thing is that the game has to be good. I mean, Black Ops 4 is definitely declining. It hasn't been a very good year, especially with the microtransactions and all the news with that. It's just, I think this game is gonna die after
800 million.
Champs. And so I'm
Wow,
so
me
excited
too.
because Modern Warfare looks promising, and that's what we really need in the COD community.
That's
We need a
actually a
game
good
that,
thing to start first year.
yeah, it's really good news that we have a game that can anchor the community because I don't think this game could do it very long at all. And so when it comes down to the future, um, so Treyarch in the news was being forwarded to make the new game, and it's rumored to be Black Ops 5 because Sledgehammer Games had a disagreement with Activision, and they were put on the back burner and are
No, they were
now
behind
a
schedule too.
yes, and Sledgehammer Games is a support studio, kind of like Raven Software, I think. And just knowing how this game came out, it would be disappointing to see a new game come out next year, right after Modern Warfare, because it's highly unlikely that it'll be finished. Black Ops 5 will probably be a disappointment like this game, unfortunately. And so I think the best solution is to release Modern Warfare 2 Remastered next year and give uh, the new Modern Warfare 2 years of development to let the franchising have two
So you
years to
think
settle in, and in
so you
order to
think
get the
2 years
sales
of
up,
Modern Warfare esports?
that's my plan. I think that would work out. It would because the first year might be a little bit shaky just because it's just getting started, but after a second year, the game will be balanced. The structure of the franchise will be in place, and so I think if you give it 2 full years, give Treyarch an extra year of development, they'll be a lot smoother for Activision.
So you think there's not? Excuse me. So you think like there's not gonna be any kind of no competitive gameplay in MW2, like if that be Witcher remastered plan?
Hmm. I don't think MW2 is
Like
a very competitive game, to be honest with you. It's so unbalanced that if the framework of the MW is good, I see it just being a placeholder, to help the community get through an extra year of Call of Duty.
Just to play a different game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of really true. And that makes
Like
reasonable sense.
look at COD 4 Remastered. It didn't have a competitive scene really. I mean, there's a lot of search and destroy, but it wasn't supported. Infinite Warfare was the main game, so I'd be happy to see 2 years of Modern Warfare, and then if MW2 got remastered, then it would be just a side game for fun.
Sorry, I just read something in chat, which was someone criticizing my gameplay, but yeah, I think that could. I wouldn't. I don't think we'll see. I think having 2 years. I think it could be interesting. Seeing the game for a long time, but again, I think with Call of Duty that the problem is the game gets really stale.
Yeah.
Which could be a big concern a lot of times. If the game is really stale.
But imagine these 100v100 modes that are being added or rumored to be added to Modern Warfare. You're getting like a Battlefield type game. It's completely new. I think for me that I'm really excited about that. Just for extending the life of the game. It sounds really fun.
Yeah, true enough. Okay, so another thing I was kind of really wanted to getting, I saw yesterday people were questioning a little bit with kind of the amateur scene. This has been kind of when the franchise league got confirmed. Is there going to be open tournaments? And we don't know what's going to happen with amateur scene. I think I heard rumors that there's going to be local city tournaments, kind of local city sponsored Activision tournaments. That were going to be released, so these open teams can play, probably have a chance. What would be kind of the best setup? Like, what would you kind of think about that when the Harmon Amateur League, and what was kind of be your plan to kind of revisualize, like how would you try to make it work in a franchise game?
This is definitely a negative with the franchising. It's concerning what will happen in the amateur scene because right now, we've seen a lot of opportunity for amateur teams, especially at champs. Now you have, I think 8 to 10 teams that were qualified for champs and are now competing, and so franchising could eliminate that unfortunately because I don't think there's any open events planned, and so I guess how I would solve that is to have like a boot camp league. If you look at League of Legends, there's an academy, and that's where you have 10-player rosters.
But you have like 10 teams. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you have a really large roster that you can sub in and basically have like a lower tier league in order to play these players that are on the roster that are not starting. I think that would be very important because if you have like a 10-player roster, you can definitely bring up and coming AMs onto your team. The problem is when you're forced to have a 5-player roster, and that's when the scene starts becoming really strict, and the AM scene is going to disappear if you're forced to have just a main starting roster, and then the AMs will never get a chance. Like we saw Phantoms on EG, he got replaced by Accuracy, and it was really like a 1-for-1 trade. I think Phantoms is playing really well, and it's just because Accuracy has more experience as a pro, and he wasn't really given that chance. But maybe if there is a secondary league next year, a player like Phantoms will be able to build his experience and name as a player to be equal to somebody like Accuracy.
Oh yeah, I ain't right though. Also, in my regards, I think it was will be. I think would kind of like the 10-player teams. I think I would kind of resemble it off the Overwatch. Academy makes sense because you have 10 academy teams. They have some players each. You can decide what to put in. I think I like that. So I think what my plan is, like, if you're thinking about the franchise league, they're gonna have they have maybe 12 teams. Each team has like 5 players. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a 4v4, or that could kind of ruin it a little bit. Well, people are criticizing the 5v5 either way. A lot of pros, but
yeah, what do you think of it? 5v5 or 4v4?
I don't know. I think it's more teamwork based. I think I kind of like 4v4. Just it's at least if you like in a 4v5, you have like just say you have a shitty ass team. One player's not going off 4, and you got 4 out of 5. At least one player can make like a big step up from being good. Like at least it doesn't feel like it's like you're ruining the team, but just say you got like you have a shitty ass player on a 4v4 team, it doesn't work that well because it's cause I think 5v5 it's a lot more teamwork based, a lot more strategy, which I think Call of Duty's kind of lean into or more tactical, not like let me just run around and be a guy. It's like it's not like turning into like a Rainbow Six structure. Well, Rainbow Six, like more tactical video games. Now it's a lot more strategy. You have to plan this out.
That's definitely true.
But it's gonna be interesting. I think if they're gonna have it's a 5v5. I'd just say it's probably gonna be 5v5. They're gonna have a 5v5 structure.
I just
and then so. They're gonna 5v5 structure. They're gonna have 2 subs in each team. two substitutes that they can put in anytime, and maybe the academy team, which makes absolute sense. Or um, they have the academy teams come in. They just play in a different league. They don't get what's a lot less valuable, but you know, I think that's a big difference maker. If you have those academy teams, you have like 10 people on the roster. Those guys are contracted. They can sub them in and out. Maybe if one player's doing bad, they can sub them in real quick. But again, it's just kind of affects the team a lot. Even in the World League this year, one new player just changes the whole structure.
Mm-hmm.
Which could mark concern. League of Legends, I don't know how League of Legends or Overwatch containers, I don't know how that works. Like, well, again, they have different players for each set, so they got like a jungle or ADC. They have a substitute ADC or jungle player that they can replace, so they kind of know what to do. Call of Duty, Overwatch, they have different roles. Maybe I don't know what the hell it is. Damage, support, tank. I think it was. I don't know how I know those. Damage, support, tank player. And they have players like that, so they just have someone to put in. But Call of Duty, it just matters on what gun you use. And the problem is, yes, different special. Good thing is, they didn't do it this year because, there's specialists in play that could maybe cause a lot of concern. But good thing it didn't really turn into that. Where the specialists were. Oh my god, that guy's good. Where a specialist change could have really affected the team, and that was kind of concerns with a lot of teams because of the things. But Call of Duty, all you need is, and especially Modern Warfare with no specialists, all you need is just whoever has the most gun skill. Like if you have, you can main AR, flex, and a sub. You can just replace him with another sub. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it's a lot better. Maybe it won't. But I think that's the good thing about they didn't do it last year. They didn't do it in Black Ops 4. So it's gonna be easy roles to fix in. Just imagine they have 10 players on the academy team, 7 on the main team with the 2 subs. Maybe the 2. I'm gonna be counting legitimately 15 players. Because the substitutes can play in the academy team to improve their stock. While they're substituted, while they're like a substitute. So, like 15 times, let's say 12. That's gonna be 180 players. That's a lot of players to have on a roster. 180 players, yeah. You probably have to contract.
So speaking of contracting, I'm hoping that Activision allows for like contracting budgets for each team, kind of like how the NFL works, where there's a every team is given a set amount for a salary cap, and I think that's very important because there's a lot of shady practices this year of people not getting paid and the contracts being unfair.
Well, now it's franchising, so they know they have to play the players.
Yeah,
so that's definitely a because they don't have any shady works.
For sure, I definitely I'm gonna like how it's gonna become more professional. It's not gonna be the Wild West of Call of Duty anymore, where you have teams like Accelerate going in and dropping a whole team and not paying anybody. That was awful what happened this year. And same thing with Midnight. Midnight had a good team and they just completely didn't pay their players and let them and drop them. So I'd like to see some more structure come to the game.
Hopefully it gets fixed.
Another thing
I'm guessing it would.
Another pro of the franchising as a whole is there's an issue with players just like not showing up to scrims on time, and a lot of I think Clayster tweeted out that we need more structure in the game, and franchising should do that.
Now it's your job on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's your legitimate job on the line because you know that GM can just drop you anytime.
Players feel like they can sleep in all day, and then it's just they have no incentive to get up and scrim because it's not really a job. It's more of like their organization and on their own time, and they just show up for the events. And on this, it's going to be more structured. There's going to be a lot more formal practices. There's going to be probably weekly games or weekly events. Everybody's going to have a match with another team. And so it's going to be expected for you to get up earlier and be more responsible as a player.
Especially with traveling. We don't know we don't know how they're gonna. I think the big thing about the Overwatch League too is I don't know how they're gonna travel. Especially when they had to go all the way to like Shanghai, Seoul, Chengdu, Beijing. I'm gonna be interested in how they travel from like how big of an impact travel will be on these like non-Eastern these all these NA and EU teams like having to travel really far abroad and how effective they can play and like how scrims can work where they have to travel far. A good thing is I hopefully they only have maybe the max is they have to travel all the way to EU like Paris is probably the farthest east. So they don't have to, unless you have a Hawaii team, which I don't think will ever exist. But you know, it's a lot of travel for these players. I think that's gonna be a big. I think what you know you mentioning about like being more structured. That I think yeah that could be right because now it's more of a serious job, but also it's gonna be hard for you to kind of it now. It's just you. There's no you have to get up. You have to get up early. It doesn't you don't have to wait till like 3 o'clock. You know, stay up all night. Now you got to be using all your time wisely. Like maybe I don't know.
No, exactly.
Did you disconnect it? You using all your time wisely, to play, and all, like to have the best scrim time you have before you have to travel to the next tournament. Like it's gonna be interesting how that would kind of work. Especially with the traveling, just with the like people gonna have to travel all over the place. I think one thing you could do. I don't know this will well. Problem is they're gonna build like esports stadiums and I'll eventually like game, but
Yeah. Do you think it'd be? Why do we need an esports stadium? How do you think that will do business? How will that make business sense?
I think if you have multiple esports teams there, I think what I think Wise Ventures in Minnesota are planning. A good thing is it doesn't have to be that big. That's the good thing. It doesn't have to cost like 500 to $1 million because it's your stadium is gonna be pretty small. It's like gonna be like 3,000 seats, like maybe something like that, 5,000 seats max. So that's kind of good thing is it doesn't really accommodate a lot of space, and also it's not that big, because also people can watch online, and that gains a lot of revenue too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the good thing there, is different from regular. Well, no, I was gonna say different from regular sports, but you can watch. Basically, you can just watch Twitch. Watch it for free. Kind of Twitch is a free app. You can watch it anywhere. It's not like Problem is people. You can watch it while in the car. You can watch your
Hmm.
Paris team shit on Atlanta while you're in the car. That's the good thing. You can do it anywhere. Like with television, regular sports is you have to like you I don't know unless you have some app, but you have to pay for the app to be able to watch your sports teams while you're on the go. Unless you it's hotel. Like this one, you just watch anywhere. You can watch on the beach. You don't have to, you can
Exactly.
watch your team on the beach while you're relaxing. Like that's the good thing is you can watch it anywhere. Any, you can watch it on your TV if you.
But wait, that's
Um,
a good point. But let me add, if a lot of people find the convenience of watching it online, it doesn't make sense to me to be investing into a stadium for like a pro league match. Like, who is actually going to show up to watch a match like that? I think that would make that would be business trouble in my eyes. Like, I don't see the return on that.
Imagine how many. Yeah, you're probably right because it's just like seems like now you're rushing all these teams to build. Well, Madison again, it's a venue. If it's already a pre-made venue, that's the good thing. I think just say they have a venue. It doesn't have to be big. Good thing is, you can just walk like they don't have to build totally new stadiums like how
Yeah.
Philadelphia is doing for the Fusion team. But again, if you have like just like maybe an example like a really small arena in your city that has maybe at least 3,000, that like some like convention center that could like work at least it's decent size. Um,
Yeah, that's probably better.
that's they don't have to build a lot of these stadiums. Maybe Minnesota has a different case, sitting as Philadelphia, but that's kind of a good thing. They just maybe have preset venues, but again, it's just with these ones building, maybe how much is return on investment. It has to be it has to work. It has to make sure it can accommodate like a populous crowd, like other stadiums. Make sure it doesn't like have any seating issues, facility issues, overall. But again, which is I think the best thing to do on that retrospect is I don't again if you have the money to build a new stadium that's fine, but it just seems like a little bit too much. It's just like especially if you're like a smaller market.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, I want like especially if you're in a bigger market, you don't need to build a whole new stadium just for esports. You can find something. That's the good thing. Like you can find something, maybe revamp it a little bit more, and make it like a little bit better. But you don't need to like completely rehaul the thing. And completely rehaul your whole, build something new. You just use pre-used construction. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a good thing. Like if teams are gonna think about that, you don't need to build something big if you're gonna have them home immediately. You can wait a couple years and see how much the return on investment is before you start doing that. So that's kind of the thing.
That's the way I would do it.
Like, yeah, I think it's kind of the best way to do it. Just kind of use whatever you have. Just if you got something available, it could work. It doesn't have it doesn't have to be like 50,000 seats. It doesn't have to be like NBA arena style. It just has to be something where it can be some like a main like a main kind of like a main stage setup. Like if you can fit a main stage setup into that arena, yeah, that works. So
True.
that will be kind of the big difference there.
Another new thing that's been big to the scene this year is the introduction of like boot camps. If you notice, Genji hosted a huge boot camp just before champs, and I thought it was great for the scene. Genji has been a fantastic org, and of course Optic has been doing the same thing. Yep.
What have you been doing for?
And that is just huge for the community. I think if every team can get something like that by renting out a space like you were talking about in a already pre-made convention center or something like that, it'll definitely be huge for the community. But I think beyond just physical venues and like physical spaces, I think franchising will expand like the Twitch economy of Call of Duty. For example, like I saw on the Overwatch League, there was a feature, like a subscription service, that allowed you to tune in and watch any player you wanted, or like from any view you wanted, like from a high camera angle or like a first person point of view. And that's so much cooler than just watching casters commentate over a match. I think that'd be awesome. Like imagine if you wanted to watch Formal play and only him during an event, and you could go back and watch somebody else play. Or then you could just turn it into the casters later or something. It's I'd love to see that come, especially even for a subscription like $15.99. That seems like a great idea for the business.
Oh, I think that could be interesting. But I think you have to show the gameplay. I don't think you can like show their face for like 24/7 because that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, I mean like the camera above them while they're
I'm
playing.
fine. I think it's better to show the gameplay than like having a camera face on them. Overall.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. I meant like their point of view in game. Like
yeah, that I think it'll be interesting because you're gonna miss a lot. You can miss like maybe you want to watch Dylan the whole time. You don't want to watch like Zaptius royalty on midnight. You don't want to watch them like just rotate around. You can watch Dylan just shit on someone. That's a lot more. I think people don't. Yeah, I think you can still have the caster. I think you can make it. But again, it's just gonna be gameplay sound, and then you just have like a main view.
Yeah.
Maybe just maybe I think one thing that could work is just have like a be a lot cheaper. Like a team cast system. And what do you mean by that is
Oh yeah.
like you just
Like,
have
like an
like
optic
just have
stream.
like observer watch over one of the teams.
Hmm.
Just have like observer watch over one of the teams and see how it goes. I suck. Um,
That
but
works.
like, just say you want to watch over reciprocity. Um, you just want to watch reciprocity play. Maybe just make sure the observer just goes to the reciprocity gameplay only. I think it'll work a lot better in retrospect. So it's just so you don't have to pay extra money just to have multiple camera operators, and that it saves a lot of customer money and pride on that too. But yeah, very good interesting point on there.
Another thing that I think Twitch needs to do, or Call of Duty needs to do, is probably have a more formal advertisement. And I know it's not good for the consumer, but again, we're talking about a franchising business, and in order to pay the players and make a higher um, prize reward and investment for these organizations, you'd want more formal advertisement. I think through the Twitch viewing, and I know
TV.
I'm not sure how many people watch MLG TV, but I think there is a decent amount,
They
a
do.
decent community. So it'd be interesting to see
Like more like whenever a big tournament shows up on a Call of Duty channel, they should just if they just say censor streaming on Twitch. It just shows like the Call of Duty championship. Well, I think people are gonna know about it anyways if you're a Call of Duty fan, but like show maybe like if you're gonna have a Twitch based advertisement, if maybe you have one advertisement just shows up for like maybe a sponsor, and then one of them is like say if you have Twitch as a sponsor, it shows like say COD champs this weekend they want to show they want to show one advertisement, they're gonna show a COD champs one, and so it just makes sure like if you're sponsored by Twitch, they show just only COD champs like as a main advertisement to maybe switch viewers over there.
of course.
Again, that's gonna be a little bit hard.
I think it
Overall.
can happen.
I think also one thing that could be shocking is you see TV advertisements. You think that's a possibility, like TV and billboard advertisements, if they go really like?
Maybe billboard advertisements, but unfortunately, I don't think TV will happen.
I think TV will work. I think TV will work.
Well, one problem,
Or
I
like
guess, this is a more broader conversation, but Call of Duty as an animated game doesn't have the same appeal as like Overwatch, as a more team-rated game. So Call of Duty might face trouble
mature.
on like TV.
Yeah, because of like the
sponsorships and
maturity
that.
case with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the views. But yeah, you can. It's just again, it's a little more inappropriate game. How would it work for children? Like, I think. Also, I forgot to mention this. Like, how would the audience work? Just say, okay, you have Twitch already. You have all these viewers. Like, once franchising got introduced into League of Legends, Overwatch, people started watching it, and then Overwatch got onto TV programs. Like, I think I don't know if like Disney XD actually streams Overwatch League games
Wow.
onto the channel. So I like that was so people can watch, maybe just they don't want to download the Switch app. They, and you got a big market at Disney X. What Disney's a big program. You have, maybe Disney XD is not that really popular channel, but maybe I guess
It's
a
still,
game
yeah.
like Overwatch works. But problem is, how is it gonna work for Call of Duty with that kind of little bit of
It can't. It can, unfortunately. That's the advantage of Overwatch being a team-rated game.
Yeah, because of that, a little bit more kid-like sculpture of shooting instead of like,
Yeah.
like swear. Well, I don't. The characters don't swear in here, but like kind of more. How do I want to say? Like, it's just a lot more violence, a lot more gore. I don't think kids are gonna, especially adults, wanting the kids to get into like just kind of tuning into the show want to see that, and I don't think it'll work on Disney XD in case.
Exactly.
I think so. We don't know what the hell broadcast network's gonna be on. I think one thing you can do is like just an ABC opener.
Hmm.
Also, I think
I'd love to
one
see them branch out and something like that.
like just like do like, it can be any channel, like maybe just create like a I was back in the day. I think it was a G4. It was like a gaming channel back in the day when I used to watch TV a lot. I think it was G4. They showed gaming just gaming TV shows, like gaming like kind of entertainment, something like more gaming based shows, like so I think having like a G4, like I was like Spike TV back in the day. It was called G4.
Yeah.
And, like having
It's
it
Spike.
broadcast on like gaming specific network would really help a lot.
I've seen it work
I
for
don't know. I
CS:GO.
think
So if it works for that game, then it can definitely work for Call of Duty.
yeah, E League, TBS, Turner East, TBS,
Yeah,
had a
exactly.
so that could work on there, but I don't because they had um yeah that could work on there just like but problem is I don't know how scheduling is gonna work.
That would be awesome.
Oh, damn,
Almost
I got
finessed
chased.
me.
But I think oh my god, he's so close to streaks. He's such a dick. Um, oh my god, he couldn't get the
Wow. He
reels.
just choked.
What did you do that for? Oh my god, that's
Yikes.
funny. Let's just forget. Oh my god. That guy was close
That's
to
hilarious.
streaks. Um, we just had like a fucking like. Ooh, wow, that just happened. Wow, okay. Thanks for 6-1 win. We don't have to go further.
GG.
But yeah, with that kind of audience standpoint, I don't know how many adults are gonna really watch this. I think one thing that I think people mentioned in the past, I think from other I think online YouTube videos is like people can understand Call of Duty. Like if you're gonna franchise, like people, you want to tune your kids, you want to tune, your adults, and people understand what Call of Duty is. It's just regular guns, you shoot them. It's a grenade, flashbang. Um, what you people kind of understand what a Hellstorm missile is. Like it's a lot
Mhm.
easier to understand than like, and it's not too complicated. Like you kind of know what it is. Like I'm just saying, create a class for example. Like people understand what a throwing knife is because it's easy. Like Molotov, people heard of this. Maybe the only thing probably hadn't heard of, like maybe body armor. A stim,
Yeah.
it's a lot more realistic than League of Legends, which you're gonna have fans tune into that immediately. Like just say you haven't watched League of Legends before, it's their franchise and they, maybe you want to see the game, but you just like a lot of fans don't understand half the stuff. Like there's
That's a
150K
great point.
viewers who watch that, and I don't understand anything. I just like look, okay, he's gonna kill this dude. And Overwatch 2, Overwatch has like different characters, and you don't know what the hell it does. You don't know what a rhino. I don't know what the fuck it is, but like what that specific thing is, and it's like people have a hard time. This is Call of Duty. It's like the first I think franchise game that just goes and like people will understand immediately, and that will kind of grab viewers, and especially in a competitive faster. It's a lot. I think it's a lot faster. I think a lot faster paced than like League of Legends. Maybe
Mhm.
Overwatch in a case. So it's just a lot more action, and that would kind of, I think that action corresponding part will be interesting. But again, it's matters in if you find like a TV network who want to do it. If you can find like a TV network that will want to invest in the Call of Duty, um, that's gonna be a big boost, and I think that's the big difference. I think for the only kind of get to topic, the Call of Duty uh the franchise COD League is only worth it if it works on TV.
Wow. Yeah,
That's all. I think that's where you have to go into.
that's where the
Everybody
money is
watches
really.
TV. I think everybody watches TV. No one like people don't game. But if you want to have someone get into gaming, like you want to be interested into gaming without having to buy a Xbox, buy a PS4, like you can understand a little bit just regularly, and that will be the biggest difference. Just for casual, like maybe other people want to watch. Maybe people who have previously stopped playing Xbox. They went to, maybe have real life jobs back in the day. I think all the Black Ops 2 players, when that scene was popular.
Mhm. There's a lot of people who stopped playing Modern Warfare and they would love to come back after seeing it this year.
Yeah, so it's just kind of also just, if you can bring that old nostalgia back, and people do watch TV. I think you have all the, maybe they all changed. Like maybe they were a former gamer and they liked gaming a lot, and then it kind of stopped once like once they went to college, they went to school, and the CODs have been shitty. Like it will bringing back. I think with that TV retrospect, if people want to watch it again, they don't want to download Twitch. It will be a big difference if you can make the old people come back.
Of course,
And
yeah,
I'm not
huge.
saying like I'm not gonna say like 40, 50-year-olds come back. Like because they didn't play that game. But
Yeah, people who played COD 4 and MW2.
okay,
You
wait.
need to get them back.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Just had some talk. But the big thing is having that everybody come back, have that old nostalgia, where fans are really excited to just
That's me right now.
the past. And there's a lot of people in the past who play. Maybe you can have someone like I think also having a big population, and also kind of making the game updated. Like if you have a game where it's just based on microtransactions, they don't listen to community. It's like those are the three things I think you talk about TV, having all these old people come back because it's finally they have Call of Duty gains some respect again. It's not like turning into like a joke every year. Now you got these franchise league coming in. It will probably get the old people back in, and especially a game that could work. That will be a big difference. And then the third thing is just kind of having a great game. Listening to community, because if you don't listen to community, people don't want to see Modern Warfare. When you have a shitty ass community, is not interested in you. Like you just you feel like you're caring about the money more. Like, Black Ops 4, for example, caring about more about the money than the players.
Yeah, the community.
Like just the community. So having a community retrospect will be a big appeal. And I think it's a possibility you can have. I think it's realistic they can do that. And I think that's where the big line is gonna be. Kind of.
That's facts.
You have anything else you kind of want to talk about before we get into the closing topic here?
I was gonna
Like
ask you
about
how many more topics you
franchising?
have about franchising.
I don't have anything. But you have
You
like
don't?
anything else you
Okay,
want to talk
'cause,
about franchising before we get into the closing topic? Nothing. Any
Not
like
really. I think we can
concerns?
wrap it up. But I'd love to talk about champs and just.
Yeah, that was the closing
competitive as a whole, if you
topic
want.
because I was supposed to
Perfect.
do a show yesterday and I was like it's gonna be good. So
That's awesome.
we're gonna talk about two things here about champs since it's this weekend.
Yeah.
First thing is, who is gonna be the Cinderella story? Now people have been saying Singularity. Which team? do you
Singularity
think
looks
that-
good.
Do you which? I'm not gonna. We're not gonna go single. We're gonna go pro teams too. I'm not gonna. Okay, let's go with this. Which AM team's gonna finish the highest? Which team do you think at the start of the event had no chance will make an impressive run into like just like finals or like a really high placing. And then the last thing is
I
who's
had no
winning
idea who
champs.
Singularity was until yesterday because of how well they were playing. And it's just if you listen
You
to their
think
story, they stayed together the entire year as amateurs. The
almost?
same team of 5 players. That's incredible. That's such an incredible story of just people working together,
I
learning
don't
the game together.
actually. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't think it's all 5 players. They had the Kleenex guy. He was Kleenex is the only one that's been part of Singularity the whole season. Um, like the organization as a whole. But Bids,
Oh, so they had
Bids,
some new guys
Kaza,
coming.
Insight, Detain, they were kind of like close together.
Yeah,
They had a
gotcha.
very interesting position, but overall, I was kind of, I didn't really want Bo and Samsung last. Like, who's gonna be a top amateur team in the Cinderella story? I think I gotta go with Singularity. I just kind of think Envy, Envy could be an option because you didn't know Aches, you know that history. But I don't know. I just can't.
I don't
It's
know.
just gonna. I can't see him make him. Just say Envy wins the first round here. They're gonna verse units, so they're gonna have a kind of an easy game. Gonna have like an easy S game. They beat units, and they're gonna come up against Singularity, Sicario. I think those both teams right there. I think Singularity. If they get Singularity, just say Sicario beats and Singularity. I can't see him making. I can't see them being Envy, but it just Singularity beats Sicario, just like I think what people are kind of expecting now. I
Yeah.
think that could be the big appeal right there. Um, just because of um, you know, just so fucking say. I think you talked about Singularity. They look pretty good. URU did not look like a really. Again, Singularity
No,
didn't
they're,
really
they're
have to
gone
do
though.
that much. They're really just trying new strats out because they were already in once the second match finished against Vandy Alliance. They didn't win a map. I think Vandy Alliance didn't even win a map. They were the team that upset a Mind Freak, but they couldn't win a map against. Um,
Yeah.
but again, that's
I'll give you my underdog. I before the event, I was hoping LG would be that underdog, but based on how they played that first game, and now they have to play against Under Thieves in the first round. I think they're gonna be in the loser bracket, and we'll see if they can make a run. But and
was
I
it.
I bet on Formal. He's incredible during champs times, but
Luminosity's your
uh,
underdog.
it's not possible. I don't think based on where they are right now in the
Let
bracket.
me. I think I'm gonna go with Splice. And
Do you consider them an underdog?
ah, and actually I'm not gonna go with Splice. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
Splice is
people
like
want
on
to hear.
that
I
optic tier
think
to
you want to
me.
hear Singularity again, but I want to go with a kind of different answer. Do you think I go
Yeah,
Singularity twice with the underdog story and like the Cinderella?
I think
I think
so.
it goes Singularity.
I mean,
I
I would
think
say Splice as well, but I
I
don't think they're
think
really
they
an
have a
underdog.
chance
I
against
think
top
they're
four.
they're highly rated.
I think they have a chance against top four with if they're gonna have. I think they have a hard time against E United to be honest. If you know whoever they get E United, they get Split. I don't know who they're gonna get. That's second round, but you know I think E
See, E United has a
United.
very nice bracket.
Um, yeah, overall. Just because yeah, it's easy. They didn't have to do that much because Genji got eliminated. That made a lot. Well, that actually didn't matter because, but that bottom half of the bracket's just kind of screwed up because E United just got a
It is,
clear
yeah.
throat. Like all they have to do, I think the hardest team they got in there is Splice.
Yep,
And that's
exactly.
gonna be like
Everybody
a
else
second round
is.
game, and they should be able to beat them. So that will be kind of a big difference maker. But
United has
um,
a straight shot. If they can't make it in the winners final, I think they don't deserve to win, in my opinion. Just of how great their bracket looks.
yeah, that's
What do
true.
you think about my CDO Miami and how United won it?
I was not shocked. I think
Yeah,
I
they
think I
deserve
had
to win.
another
They're just so
I
good.
did I did another episode. I think it was the third episode of the show where I was talking about who's gonna win Studio of Miami, who's gonna make a, and I said FaZe Clan. They didn't win. I know I
Hmm.
said FaZe Clan, but I
Interesting.
said if this
They
I
look good
said
though.
I commented this guy's like, oh, there's no way this you know, he said 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
No, actually he said E United, so he got the right pick, but he
Well,
didn't
he's a good.
believe
Yeah.
that FaZe was gonna beat 100 Thieves first round. Guess what happened? FaZe beat
Which they
100 Thieves
3
first. Yeah, they 3-0'd. And I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the same answer again. I'm going with FaZe winning it all. And
Wow.
this,
That's
I
a
think,
that's a crazy
we
pick.
talk about it. FaZe is gonna have a tough competition. They're gonna fight through the toughest nails and bits competition. I think you talk about it. They're gonna have reciprocity first round, which is, I think they should beat. I think they should beat him today. And then they're gonna have, I think 100 D's versus LG, unless LG please make an upset pick. Please upset 100 Thieves again. Reciprocity. All the those four teams right there. One of those could be top 16. That's interesting.
Yeah.
One of
That's
those four
that's
teams
crazy.
could be top 16. And Singularity, Singularity could be ahead of them, or you know, Envy and I guess Envy loses twice, but just Singularity, Sicario, Units, and Maze and Envy could finish above them. And you think about that, that could be shocking. 100 FaZe is gonna be 100 Deeps again, and they're gonna make it all the way.
Wow.
They're gonna beat Optic.
So I'll be
They're
honest
gonna
with you.
beat E
I'm
United.
not a bandwagoner at
Actually,
all. I'm not a
I'm not
bandwagoner
gonna
at
say
all.
that.
But
FaZe is making 2 best of 5.
Slasher. Wow. Well,
2 best of
Slasher's
5s.
my favorite
I can't
player.
see one E United
And
first time. Oh, you continue.
Slasher's my favorite player, and so that immediately became my favorite team, even through when they had Pharaoh and they were trash. So it was nice to see them win 2 tournaments and get everything together. Priest has been incredible, and so
So you going 100 Deeps? Or
yeah, I'm going 100 Thieves for sure.
Yeah, I think that matchup, the second round, if it goes as planned, is what people are expecting. FaZe versus 100 Thieves. That's gonna be kind of the matchup between who's making finals and who's not. I think one of those 2 teams are gonna make it finals.
That's fair.
I'm going with FaZe because I like them. I don't a lot of times go for like the clear cut favorites. You know, like maybe you 100 Thieves. I even seen the last tournament. I didn't go with. I went with FaZe again. I went FaZe because I said, oh, okay, they should have a chance. I'm going with them again. I think the only thing I think you have to fix up the control. Search and control is gonna be. I think control they can fix up easily. I don't know. They actually been shockingly struggling at control. But again, that's just kind of teamwork. They can fix that. They got slaying power. But you know, Search, that's gonna be kind of the big thing you gotta look at. 100 Thieves, they are pretty. I think Search is gonna be another concern game mode. So you got 2 teams that are, I think, semi decent at Search. That's gonna be the big difference there.
FaZe is probably better at hardpoint, and then 100 Thieves is great at control. So it's gonna be it's an interesting series, though. It seems like who can beat them on their own mode. If 100 Thieves can win at hardpoint, they probably have a better chance. But if FaZe can win in control, then that might be the series right there.
I don't know.
So
I just feel like the hard point is a lot better for FaZe. I think you saw it. I think maybe one series against Units. The Units, the first map against Units. I don't know. So honestly, don't play this map on. I said Arsenal. I think Zero mentioned on a interview. I think yesterday said they don't play Arsenal control. They don't play Arsenal hardpoint. And hopefully don't get that, but you know, I didn't, you know, because it got destroyed.
yeah,
But again, I think you talk about it. It's just gonna be the big difference between this, just the slaying power. Those saws are gonna be a big difference. I'm just going with FaZe just one because I just want to maybe piss you off, and second thing, I just want to just not go for the clear cut favorites all the time.
well, Salim has been incredible. Zero and Scraps are amazing. I just don't know about Asim.
Again, he's a solid
Be
player.
honest with
He's
you.
he's not gonna have the highest KD, but I think he does what he has to do. He does his role correctly. We don't have to go for KD a lot of times. I think teams like to do that, but I think Asim is considered one of the best like grapple players, and he doesn't slay that. He's not. He's just an entry. He's I think he considered one of the best entry sogs, and that's the big appeal. I think of him just kind of being that really great all around player, and you know, that's kind of where the difference is going to rely on. So that's kind of a good thing right there.
Would you take a Nabel or a Seam?
Assume.
I mean, it's fair. He is super fast on the map.
I think you take someone who's just fast.
Yeah.
Again, Enable runs.
But we have that in Priest.
Again, Priest. I think honestly, Priest is better than Asim because of his slaying potential, like his slaying power. Just Asim's kind of better than Enable. I think Phase Duo. I think Zuma and Asim are just kind of the Sogs. I don't know. Zuma's kind of having a down year, but he's doing enough. Again, Doe's AR presence is going to be big. I think the big battle about that matchup is just Asim. I think it's going to be Zero versus Octane. Again, that's
of course, yeah.
I think you talk about
Celium
that. The Maddox
Slashers,
is going to be pretty close with Slash and Kenny, and then Scraps and Celium. I think I'll go with FaZe on this one. But I think if
it's gonna be fun to
Octane
watch.
has to beat Zero. Oh, sorry, Zero has to beat Octane. Like in his...
If it's to win, yeah.
So that's gonna be the big difference maker right there. Who's gonna... Okay, so we're gonna say 100 Thieves and FaZe. Who's gonna meet them? I said E United for my pick.
Yeah, United has a really nice
So
bracket.
you think it's gonna be 100 Thieves versus E United for you? Are they coming in for winners or losers?
Yeah, that's it. So where would you put Optic in there? Optic has looked pretty good. I like Karm on the Sog. He looks nasty.
Here's my position.
I don't know. I feel like they can clutch up.
FaZe, E United, 100 T. I can't go rec. I don't know. I don't think rec will match up. Singularity. I just want to go for the Stark story. I gotta look at the bracket. Might as well do it now. But
You know what?
again,
I see Optic and 100 Thieves in the semis. That's my pick.
I said fifth and sixth. I need to look at the bracket. If I can. So I said, okay, so 100 Thieves gets third, Singularity gets fourth because I said fuck it. They're gonna get every recruiter. Oh, they're not gonna match up. Reciprocity is not even gonna. If Reciprocity gets like, well, I don't know how it's gonna set up. Reciprocity. I think it's only I think the brackets kind of flip around after if you lose. It's not gonna. It's just the winner's bracket just stays consistent. Otherwise, it flips around for like losers. So you might not even play the team that you kind of expect. But Reciprocity, Optic, and we'll go with Envy. That's my top 6. 7th place I go with Heretics. 8th I'll go Splice.
Huh. I have Splice over Envy.
Actually, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go Splice. I'm gonna go E6, 8. Just because of their.
I don't agree with that.
I just said. Who's your top 8? What's your kind of plan for a top 8? If you kind of. Oh my god, you got shit on there.
Yeah, right.
Like from my top 8, which teams will you kind of replace and add on?
I go 100 Thieves, E United. Probably Optic. I feel like Optic can make it to the semis of winter finals for sure. I put Splice in there over Envy. I don't think Reciprocity is gonna be able to do it because
I didn't say. I said
Dylan hasn't looked as good as he has been. Like if he's not carrying the team, I don't think Reciprocity can do it.
Alright.
And Envy has looked decent, but
Yeah,
Downloads
free game
isn't the same as
fives.
it used to be.
What?
Tightened by the numbers, just how we drilled it.
Okay, sorry again. Yeah, I think you kind of
Yep.
ran those picks. Again, that could be interchangeable. So that's gonna, since I was an unfortunate time away, at least we got the thing done. That's gonna be kind of the end of the show here. Do you have any? I'm gonna leave this game. I don't want to play search anyways. Do you kind of have any shouts that you want to give to anyone before we end the stream off?
Well, my shout out is going to be towards the CCL College League because I can't wait to play Call of Duty there, and I'm looking to put together a Florida Gators team. So, shout out to the CCL. They're a great organization, and I can't wait.
Well. Thank you for the conversation. Looks like I would have got a little more in if my parents were not in a little bit of a rush to eat at Waffle House, but that's okay. I guess we got it all done anyways. I think it was like near the end, so it was not like midway. So that's gonna be on stream, guys. It's gonna be end of GamersTakes episode 6. Next episode will be probably on Saturday or Sunday, talking about our energy drinks worth it with I guess I will not reveal yet. So that's gonna be on the stream, and bye.